All right, folks, welcome back to the channel. I got a new video for you today, a new course today. We are at the preserve, which is attached to the Graham Creek Nature Preserve property, which is the same property where I filmed my round at the Prairie. And there's also a third course here called Pecan Hollow, a more wooded course. This one's more of a blend, a little bit open, a little bit wooded, whereas Prairie was predominantly open and a little shorter. This one features some holes that can be a bit longer, and it also features millions of love bugs, apparently. I mean, they are just all over the place at this point. But anyway, the reason why I'm here today is because I'm actually playing a tournament here at Graham Creek at the end of September 25th. And I'm playing one round at the Prairie, which I've already got a video about that course on the channel. I'll link that in the description below. But Preserve is also one of the courses that we will be playing that tournament. And I've yet to ever see it. And I tried finding some videos for it on YouTube, and there's not many out there to like preview the course. So I thought this would be a cool preview for people who might have to play this course in an event. And it would also just be some content for the channel. So I'm gonna play a practice round here. I'll keep score sort of, but I'll be throwing multiple shots off the tees just to get used to the course, because I'm not sure if I'll get to come back before the tournament. So I wanna make sure that I kind of know what I'm getting into as I head into that event. But anyway, we're starting off here at hole one, and I can show you where the basket is from here. If you look down the way to the left, that first, I guess, power pole, that brown one, the basket's to the right of that, and there's like cutout in the woods on the right-hand side of the fairway, kind of like a little circle that got cut in on the right-hand side. And so it's basically directly to the right of that pole. You can't see it from the tee, so I just figured I'd kind of show it to you here before we get over to the tee. All right, cool. All right, so we're at hole one. I'm gonna be playing off white tees because this was my division we'll be playing off of in the tournament, but there is also blue tees. There's also apparently some hunting going on or something like that. Can't get away from that apparently here in Alabama. And anyway, so I'm going to be playing off the white tee. This is 358 from the basket. The blue tee is basically 30-40 feet behind the white tee, but basically the same shot. And essentially, if you come out this way, you can see that pole I pointed out earlier right there. So that's basically kind of the landmark you want to get to before you start cutting right. But obviously, I have to hit this gap over here to the left. So basically, it's going to take a forehand for me. Maybe you could do some kind of backhand turnover shot. But for me personally, it's going to be a forehand. I'm going to really put some hyzer on this one. I wonder if it's like a headwind up there or something. It's kind of closed off towards the tee, but up there it's kind of windy. Yeah, a little bit. That's it. Cool. Let's move up. So this is where my pink disc landed. My best one, the blue one, the third sergeant. It's up there, a little bit better. Honestly though, that's still like 50, 60 feet from the basket, even that blue one. And then this one, I'm probably another 80 feet back. So honestly, I don't see me birdieing this guy. I don't think I have the power for it with the forehand. I need to like flex something that comes out much later, but then you kind of risk flexing it into this wood line. So I just don't think I have that shot. So a par here is probably going to be good for me. So that's what I'm going to try to do, is just do a little forehand chip shot. A couple of guardian trees that kind of guard your way in. Not too difficult though. There also is kind of like a backhand route, I guess, right that way to the right of my blue disc, where you could maybe backhand in. But it seems like the forehand's kind of the play. That's what we're going to do. Yep, should be good. All right, so now we're at hole two, a bit of a tunnel shot. We're at the white tee again. That's the tees I'm playing off of for my tournament. The blue tee is literally dead straight behind me, maybe 80 feet. So it doesn't change the shot, it just changes the distance. I believe the basket's about 330 feet down the fairway from what the scorecard was telling me. So I suppose that means the blue tee is probably like 380 or something like that. Maybe, actually I think I read it was like 400 and something feet, and it's a par four, but from here I believe it's a par three. Not 100% sure. Does it say par three on the scorecard? I believe so. We'll edit it and post it if need be, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. It's dead straight, but at the very end of the fairway, I guess goes a little bit to the right. So you would either just want to throw something pretty dead straight and just have a clean approach for your par, or you would need something that flips really late in the flight if you're throwing a right-handed backhand. I guess you could also maybe throw a forehand here, but I mean, you have to keep it straight for a really long time before it hyzers out to the right. So I'm gonna throw a couple of backhands here for practice, just to try to keep something in the fairway, make sure I have a clean approach. And then maybe I'll try a forehand just to see what it would be like. That would have been good if I had some height on it. Let's try forehand. Nah, I need something that's going to hyzer out way later than that. Just try something maybe a little safer. Okay. Straight mid maybe. Something stay in the fairway. I was about to hyzer out and be perfectly in the center right before it hit that last tree. Yeah, this is a tough one for me. You definitely got to be accurate. All right, let's go. All right, so this is where my first shot was, the backhand turnover. My mid-range was a little bit shorter right on the wood line to the right, and so was my forehand. Black Widow Central in there, by the way, just a ton. So when I was actually getting my mid out and that forehand disc, I, had to do a little sneaking to not get bit. Anyway, the basket should be right around the corner to the right. I don't know how far away. I've never seen it. So I'm just going to throw a forehand straight ahead and just hope that it gets near the basket. I'll have a better idea once I get up there. So, try to get a par at this point. No clue. Okay. All right, so here's where my forehand landed. I actually ran it right by the tee box for hole 3. I needed something actually to push a little straighter to get a little bit more distance, get closer to the basket, but not bad since I didn't know where it was really. But now I kind of know that it's just right near that opening and it's to the right, maybe like 50, 60 feet. I'm like maybe 35, 40 feet away from the basket for a par here. Definitely I'll have to push something a little bit straighter in a tournament. Give myself a better chance here.
Oh.
You hate to see that.
There you go.
Player B got the par, player A didn't. Again, that was a longer putt, though. I definitely want to have an approach shot that gets me closer. So, strategy for this hole for me would probably either be the forehand and just flex it a little bit more, or I think the mid-range shot was pretty safe too. So, one of those two, just try to get the par again here. All right, folks, we're at hole 3. White and blue tee are the same. It's 180 feet. Scorecard says 280. I don't know where they got that from. Maybe it got changed since then. But you have 2 lanes. You either go this left lane with like a forehand or a backhand turnover. If you step all the way back here, Tracy, you can see the basket. It's just through there, a little bit to the right. There's like a little orange flag on the ground next to it. So it should be pretty easy to spot. So for the right-handed player, it seems like you could throw a forehand up this left lane and just try to dodge some of these trees and get to the basket that way. Or you could try a backhand route on the right-hand side of the fairway. So I guess I'll try both. Uh-oh. Maybe I spoke too soon. That was good, but I got kind of lucky. Let's see what we did. All right, so the first forehand I threw actually landed right here. So this is about a 35-foot putt with trees in the way. Would have to do some kind of crazy Anheuser putt, or maybe like straddle out like this and do something maybe. The last throw I threw, the second backhand, actually was pretty much parked. So that was pretty much perfect. Man, this is a toughie. This is a tough hole for it being 180 feet, I'll say that. Definitely very touchy.
Oh.
That'll be a par. That's fine. The other option was basically to just try to go like straight through these trees. Well, that's a par. Let's move on. All right, so here's a tip to people when you're practicing, if you're newer to the disc golf space, always look back. Because remember, if you look at the tee and you looked at my backhand gap, it looked really skinny. And it is for that one little patch, for like just that one little section. But then it really widens out and it becomes a much wider lane to the basket if you take that right side fairway from the tee with the backhand. It appears very skinny, but once you break through that little 5-foot gap, it just really opens up nicely. if you look at the forehand lane that I was taking initially, you know, there's the basket. This lane, as you can see, a lot more cluttered, a lot more narrow. It starts very open at the beginning, but it really narrows out, whereas that one starts narrow and really widens out. So I think the safest play is probably the backhand. All right, so now we're at hole 4. Apparently it's a little over 400 feet and it's a par 4 from the white tee. The blue tee is literally just another maybe 80 to 100 feet behind me, but it's just straight back, so it's the same line and gap you have to hit. It's just a longer tunnel from the blue, obviously. And yeah, the basket is just to the right. It goes into like a pretty big opening once you get past this tree on the corner. So it seems like forehand is the play. And since it's a par 4, I guess you really don't have to get that far. So I just want to play the left side of the fairway and then have it flare right is kind of the goal. So I'm just going to throw a couple of forehands. I got a couple of felons here I'm going to throw. One's just a regular lucid, one's a lucid X, so that should be more overstable. So I'm just going to try them both. And really, I'm just looking to keep something low and just something overstable. I mean, I obviously want to get to the corner first before I flare right, but I just want to make sure that I'm not pushing too straight and getting into those woods in the background. I just want to make sure that I stay in the fairway so I can have a clean approach, because this should be very birdieable with it being a par 4, or at least that's what the scorecard says. I'm not sure if that's exactly right.
Dang.
I needed to go just a little bit more before it did that. That was almost perfect. So this one's a little bit more overstable. We'll put a little bit of Anheuser on this one and just try to get it through. Wow, I did the opposite. Whatever. We'll just throw another overstable forehand here. Just get some practice in. Just need to get my release timing right. Just be smooth. There we go. That's still probably good, actually, even though I hit a tree. Cool, let's get up there. You definitely need to beat this corner, like you really do, because if you get stuck here, I mean, it's jail to get out. But if you come out here, you can kind of see the wide open fairway you can get to. Honestly, pushing this back wall wouldn't be bad. So maybe actually trying to push something straighter for longer and actually trying to get to this back wall of 3 is actually not bad, because once you get here, I mean, you have a pretty clean approach to the basket. I mean, the basket's just off here to the right. Definitely opens up a lot once you get over here. So yeah, I think pushing this back wall, not a bad idea. Maybe even like just a putter shot with the backhand and just throw it like really dead straight, just have it kind of settle in this corner would be perfect. Might need to reconsider that whenever I go back and kind of think about what I want to do here. Try like a little backhand turnover play. Try to stay in the fairway.
Nice.
Wasn't trying to bite off really too much there. I already forfeited the birdie opportunity by having a bad tee shot, so I might as well just do something safe like that, make sure I can approach for my par. All right, so here's where my safe tee shot landed. Now I just need to put a forehand up there and just tap my par out. My third forehand landed like just ahead of this to the left, like in the woods, so it wasn't too terrible actually, but definitely don't want to get stuck in there. I think maybe a straight backhand putter shot is the play, honestly. Or maybe just throw the felon better and just make sure it's straighter for longer and just gets over there. Got to beat that corner in the tournament. Yep, par for the par. Easy.
There's a super skinny tunnel. Like that's the tee pad right there. So if you can
I wouldn't try to do that.
If
off
you can
the
get
tee.
through that.
That's a no for me, dog. I think if you somehow fell really short of the corner, that's an option to maybe get back on the fairway. But
yeah.
I mean, I think the route I took was the correct route. I just missed.
Yeah.
So all it is. All right, so now we're on the white tee for hole 5. This one's actually dramatically different than the blue tee. The blue tee is actually way that way, and there's a Mando that you have to hit. Whereas here, you don't have the Mando you have to hit. Definitely still a tight gap though. I think it's like 360 feet. It's a par 3. The basket, once you get out this gap, is in this pretty wide open field to the left. But you basically just have to get through this gap, and you need to kind of just start drifting left a little bit just to try to avoid all these trees on the right-hand side of the fairway. So honestly, just throw in something straight with a little bit of fade to get through this gap is pretty much the play. Probably another hole where par is the best I can hope for, unless I have some crazy like 200 and something foot throw in. I mean, you probably could throw like some type of hyzer flip shot dead straight and then maybe get to the basket, but I mean, that's asking a lot. This gap is pretty small at the end of this tunnel, maybe like 10 to 15 feet wide. Basically just kind of aiming at that tree, then having it drift left before it gets to it. That is honestly all I would want. Like, I don't think I'm ever doing anything better than that. I could try this for funsies real quick, just trying to actually really eat one out there, but I bet you a tree is getting demolished right now. All the disc is. Oh my God, I got lucky.
Woo!
See, here's the thing. Again, if you're new to disc golf, you have to think to yourself, what can I replicate? I cannot replicate that second shot, you know, more than maybe 4 or 5 out of 10 times. But that first shot, I could probably replicate that a much higher percentage. And so that's the smarter play for me. That's probably what I'll do in the tournament. All right, so Tracy wants to throw this hole. She's flexing. I basically just told her, just try to get out the gap. That's all she needs to focus on. Don't think about how far away the hole is. Just think about getting through the gap. Something nice, slow and smooth and straight. That was slow, it was smooth, and it was straight into that tree. We can get that back, it's no problem. Wanna try one more? Try throwing that Buzz SS. The purple, yeah, there you go. Try getting that guy through. Yeah. Let's go. Perfect.
Didn't go very far, but...
That you don't need to on this one. All right, so there's where my putter landed, the first backhand I threw, and it's, you know, a good bit short of the basket, maybe like 150 feet or so, but very easy approach to just tap in a par. Now my second throw, the one I actually really tried to go for the basket, we're gonna see if we can find it. Remember, this is supposed to be 360 feet. I think it might be more close to like 330, 340, honestly, but this scorecard says 360. See if we can find my second disc. It was good. Here it is. Here's where my second disc was. Flipped right a little too much. It got pin high, but it's way out here. And so the point is I'm gonna get the same result, and the first throw was way less risky. And that just further confirms that taking the putter off the tee, just getting out into the open is definitely gonna be my play. We're at hole 6 now. White tee is 285 feet, so just under 300. Blue tee is a little bit further back and a much trickier gap, so blue tee is definitely a lot harder here. But this is the most straightforward hole we've played so far, I think. Nothing really tricky about it. No real tight gaps, it's wide open. I just need to have something kind of play to the right-hand side of the fairway, then hyzer in towards the basket towards the end. Got a little bit of a headwind right now, so definitely need to throw something a little more overstable. Also, with it being windy, where I would probably normally throw a putter here, with the wind, I think a putter would get kind of eaten alive. So I'm gonna throw a fairway first, and then I might throw a couple of my mids, see how that goes. Also like this tee pad, it's great because it's flat. There's no step up from the ground to the tee, which is great. It's exactly what you want. Some of the other tees had like a little bit of a step up, but all good. This property, by the way, so far, spectacular, which I'm not surprised because I really like the prairie course we played. So I kind of expected this one to be nice as well, and it really has delivered in that regard.
Oh, too much.
Still on the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't put it out to the right enough. I was kind of scared too, honestly, because I thought the headwind might flip it a little bit. So I was kind of trying to keep it straight in case it did flip right, but it wound up not. So definitely could have trusted it more outside than I did. That's it. Get in the basket.
Oh my God.
All right, so my main throws, the first one that is, was just under this tree, which was about 60, 80 feet from the basket. So no way really to get a birdie from there. Would have had to lay up for a par. My second throw though with that hex landed right here in this grass, which if I step behind it, I am about 15 feet from the basket, but there's some trees right on the left side that might have made it a little bit tricky to putt it. Would have had to probably do like a little straddle putt for birdie. Definitely would have got a par from there. So you definitely want to be short of the basket a little bit. And you definitely want to hang something out on the right-hand side of the fairway and have it hyzer in near where that backpack is and maybe skip up a bit. You don't want to be deep of the basket because there's just a lot back there you might get stuck behind and get unlucky. You definitely don't want to push it too far left and get in these woods here either. So, yeah, something to the right and maybe a little bit less distance than you think. Trying to lock her putt in. All right, so now we're on hole 7. White tee, supposedly 250. I'm pressing X for doubt on that one. It seems like it might be a little longer than that, but it's really hard to tell. It might just be because of the line you have to take. Maybe a straight line to the basket really is 250. If you come here, to me, you can kind of see the basket like through these trees, like way in the distance.
Oh yeah.
But basically you want to place something, it seems to me, on this right side of the fairway, to the right of this stump, and then have it kind of come out left, because it's pretty clear on the right-hand side. Left-hand side, absolute jail. Don't want to be on the left-hand side at all. Right-hand side, a lot more open, a lot more what you want. It almost feels somewhat similar to the type of shot shape you want from the last hole. It's just you're going to get a lot less forgiveness on this one because you don't have as much open space to play with. Otherwise, pretty much the same. I'm just gonna throw a couple of the same disc I threw in the last hole and just see what works out, if anything does.
It's in front of that bush somewhere.
Might be all right. I don't know. I'm a little concerned maybe that hyzer too much. I got off the tee right though. I got to the gap. Got what I wanted. I just think maybe it hyzered a little too much. Try something else. Oh,
Aw.
that seems so pretty too, man. I think the mid's a safer play because if I do wind up hitting something, it's not going to shoot off as far, you know, because it's a flatter edge, so it won't skip and rattle as much. So I think the mid is probably the play, even if it's short. We'll go look and see, though. So this is where my first shot landed, the mid. Really good. If I would have thrown it like a little flatter, so it would have hyzered later in the flight, I might have been able to push it to the basket, honestly. Other one hit the tree and was, you know, pretty short. But this is like a 50-footer maybe. So definitely gonna get a par here at worst, but maybe I can float one in for the birdie. I think I'm shot even par so far. No birdies, but I don't got bogey yet either. A couple of holes I got in trouble on were par 4, so didn't really have any trouble. That's a dead duck putt right there. It's wobbly. Good night. Yeah, that's just a long putt to try to be hitting. So that's another par. All right, so now we're at hole 8. It says 250 on the scorecard. I can't really tell because I haven't seen the basket, but it seems like you just want something to go through this gap right ahead of you to the right, and then probably have it fade left at the end of the flight. So not really that much different than the last hole, honestly. Similar gap you have to hit. Obviously, if you're on this left-hand side, you're screwed. Only thing is the step-up tee pad. It's like a 2-inch jump up, and the tee pad's like angled away from the gap. It's like angled dead straight into these woods. I kind of wish it was a little straighter on. Whatever, we'll try to make do. Oh my god, this tee pad's just messing with me, man. It honestly is just making me point myself in a direction I don't want to be. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I feel like it's really hard to angle myself the way I want. I don't like this tee pad. It's not only the tee pad's fault, don't get me wrong, but it's really weird. I don't know why it's pointed that way. So here's where my first disc landed. My third disc actually got up there a decent bit, but yeah, it's just tough angle. Just gonna have to lay up for par, hopefully. or hit a million trees. Man, if you play the left side of the fairway, you're kind of screwed. Walk it up here. Man, you definitely want to stay like really hard right. You almost kind of want to play into the wood line a little bit and then have it fade out. Because even if you throw a great shot and you hit the gap, I mean, this place is so guarded. I mean, you're basically playing poke and hope on the left-hand side here to get to the basket. So I feel like playing wide right the whole way, where this pink disc is actually, is probably the only way to really get to the basket. Basically, what this hole demands is that you throw a perfect shot. Because if you fade early, you're either stuck in the woods before the gap, or you hit some of these trees right here, or you hope you get lucky through them. So definitely playing something wide is probably the play. All right, so we're on hole 9, last hole of the front 9. We'll do this in 2 separate videos because this one's probably getting a little long, so we're throwing extra throws and such. The descent is 340 feet. It looks like it bends to the right pretty well. Apparently it's a par 4 though, so a little bit more wiggle room, I guess you could say. Kind of got trolled because when we left the hole 8 basket, we were walking out to this open field. I'm like, oh snap, we're getting some open holes. We're about to throw some bombs. And then it was like, nah, you're taking a left turn right back in the woods, buddy. And I'm like, great. Sick. Also, it's mega muddy, so.
Yeah, make sure you have your waterproof shoes on.
Oh, yeah. Gonna throw some forehands, see what I like best. We'll start safe and get progressively more aggressive. But honestly, I think something safe off the tee is probably fine as long as you stay out the woods. There's a lot of trees in the midst of the fairway though that you could hit. Definitely want to play the left side of the fairway and then come right.
Yeah.
That's honestly probably what I'll do.
Yeah.
All right, so I landed like basically right behind this group of like 3 or 4 trees or whatever it is. Would have been nice to be just right or left of it, honestly. Maybe a backhand turnover is not a bad play because then it straightens out to the left and gives you a more open lane to the basket. But I was like here. So. I'm gonna try to do something stupid. It's not too stupid, but I just feel like if I have to do some kind of weird stepping out, patent pending backhand, I'm gonna fail. I'm not good at the patent pending shots like that. So I'm gonna try to force a forehand on this right side on an anhyzer and then have it come out. I mean, I don't need to do anything crazy to get the par here, but I definitely want to get up there if I need to kind of get me a birdie. If I would have had the right height, actually would have been it. Let's go. All right, so here's what I'm left with for my birdie putt. Definitely didn't get as far up as I needed to have a good chance, but maybe I can just try to give it a soft in and make sure I get my par at the very least. That's a par.
Almost.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because that one hanging branch might block a putt if it's too high. But that's fine. I mean, maybe if I had a cleaner approach, I could have had an easier time for maybe a birdie putt. But honestly, as long as I stay out of trouble and get a par, I'm not too upset. So that's it for the front 9. I shot 1 over, I think, on the front 9 because I pretty much parred everything except for hole 8. I took a bogey. So that's where I'm at. Not bad, I guess, for a blind playthrough. First time here. Definitely a challenging course, definitely a lot of fun. For the most part, I'm really enjoying it. I think the only issue I had was hole 8. That tee pad was pointed weird. I didn't like that. Other than that, I haven't had any issues here. I think it's a great property, great layout. Challenging, but not unfair, except for maybe like 1 or 2 holes. It feels a little poke and hopey, but you know, good job here. So yeah, we'll wrap it up here on the front 9. We'll be back for the back 9. Catch you next time.